Try to get better at this. Baby, baby, you don't understand how much I love you, baby, and how much I want to be your only man. Ooh, 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 baby, 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 you don't have to go. Stay a little longer, baby. I'd like to talk to you just a little more. I can see the tears in your eyes about to fall. You are wondering if I'm for real. But if you cry, I wonder why you cry. I can tell you how I feel. Baby, I'm for real. Ooh, ooh, ooh. If you want to know the truth about it, girl, I can't just live without it. That's why I'm confessing my love to you. I want to live my whole life with you. That's the originals. If y'all don't know nothing about that, from about 1966 Motown. A song written by Marvin Gaye and Anna Gaye. And so y'all know how I do. Let's get it. Damn, getting better with that left hand on it. Mm. And I hit everything with this. Ooh, smells good. Smells good. Commercial for the CBD. Because the bowl's just holding my hand just a little better. Take a little of this pain out these joints too. See if this one wants to play tonight. Not bad. Oh, thank you. Can I play? Can I play? Well, okay. Do, 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 do. Well, okay. Throw out that blue argonite to everybody. Hit you with that blue argonite, baby. It just hit me with some daisies. Anybody else get that? Listen to this. Did you get some daisies? All right, you're heavy and killing my shoulder. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I'm your super funky host, Big Pontiac, also known as the Time Lord, also known as A Wind. I claim all the energy. I am also the holder of the infinite, sacred ball game and ball field created by the Hero Twins. And I am also your galactic daddy-o, welcoming each and every one of the chocolate mountaineers to my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. And tonight we are drinking just sugar, water. Can't drink beer every day because I like it too much. It's not that I'll get drunk, but it's not good to drink alcohol every day. And when you get older, just probably something you should moderately use. So pop them if you got them. Tonight I'm still smoking on the Yukon Wolf Evolve XL because they do have a regular Evolve. So smoke them if you want them. What Jamie Foxx say? You better blow that shit out. Ain't we funky now? Brisk Clown, what is happening? Brother Lobo, what is going on? B Brown. I think I gotta take a little of the gain out. Chris Taylor, what's happening? It's Topper. Chris Topper. Said I was gonna go to bed, but I might hit that pen a couple more times now. Hit the pen a couple more times now. Okay. There you go. Here I am. This is my Monday. I'm gonna do the next 5 days unless something comes on, and want to give everybody the transformation energy. Transformation energy. I've got too much shadow. I've got to erase. I don't think but transformation energy of the were being, transforming from the panther consciousness into the human consciousness. Give that out. And of course, I give the Verge energies out. Crystal form. Verge to help you cut through ignorance. It'll also give you the motion. Movement, motion, and hit you with that Hecamere diamonds. So give all that out. With Brother Lobo, watch both games tonight. Both of them was kind of boring. If you notice, it's less manipulation in blowouts. It really is. Because, again, that's what they did when Golden State won all their titles. They was normally blowouts. So really wasn't a lot to show tonight. I watched sparingly the first game. Same thing with the second game. Kind of watched that off and on. So didn't really see a lot tonight. Oh, there goes the one Aggie Pride. Oh, let me tell you what. Hey, I'm going to tell you what. I used to didn't mind Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina, you can kick rocks. My daughter that was there for a week and did not find one Aggie hat, one Aggie jerseys. All this North Carolina Central, Johnson C. Smith, Duke, Carolina. I'm done with Charlotte. There for a week, you got to have some Aggie stuff somewhere there. Somewhere there should be some Aggie stuff. So I'm kind of done with Charlotte. You got to have Aggie stuff. Everywhere in North Carolina is supposed to have Aggie stuff. Hey, Marco, how you doing? Thank you for the kind words. They turned the Hornets Magnus off a vast majority of the game and let some calls go. They was kind of letting Ball get beat up. It was a couple times he went to the hoop, no call, especially in the first half. And that's a lot of times if they want to do the blowouts, they do in the first halves. And then like the second game, the predictable thing was you're watching the third quarter, how it goes. And then into the fourth quarter, going into the last 7 minutes, you knew there was going to be a run. I mean, this stuff is like becomes so predictable. You knew there was going to be a run. You just knew it. And then here's the run, but it's not enough. As I said last night, should be an open tournament, or maybe this afternoon, should be an open tournament, every team. And then what people will say, well, the regular season doesn't mean anything. Again, the seeding would be still from 1 to 32. The seeding would be the same. Wouldn't be like you would still get the advantage of just like in college. The top teams get the advantage. They script them, so a lot of times the top teams don't win. but nevertheless still scripted. So we got USFL football, and this is what's so ridiculous. Again, I've said many times, I did a show with Sly that really we busted out Kaepernick. You know, I did hey, Sean, do you wear hats? Do you wear hats, Sean? Because I'll send they got these Timberwolf hats, crazy sales. But do you sell hats? If you sell hats, if you like wearing hats, I'll send you one of these hats. I can get Vikings hat. I can get the straight bill, or I can get you the bit bill, whichever you prefer. So let me know. But yeah, welcome, Brother Sean. It's like, well, yeah, it's the same thing. And so that way, at least they would have something comparable to what March Madness is, and it would increase in popularity. So, but I was getting the point of the USFL. So as I said before, you know, Donald Trump helped. So 2 years come in, the third year, Donald Trump buys the New Jersey Generals. He pays Herschel Walker all that money because I think it was because the year before they had got Doug Flutie, or maybe I want to say Doug Flutie's a year older because Doug Flutie's a year under me, but I want to say he's a year above Herschel Walker, maybe even 2. I want to say I'm 3 years above. I think when I was I think I was in camp, so I wasn't in school then. Yeah, so I think Herschel Walker's 3 years younger than me, perhaps. I don't know, but that's when Donald Trump comes in. And Donald Trump, so 2 successful seasons. USFL had 2 successful seasons of playing during the spring. Donald Trump comes in and says, let's play in the fall, compete against the NFL. Now, I think that first year Herschel Walker only played 1 year. He broke the rushing record. It was over 2,000 and something yards, but again, in the USFL. So it's probably got an asterisk by it. But it killed him. And Donald Trump was promised to get his generals into the NFL. That was the promise. You kill the USFL. And of course, the court case where it all was politics. They could have kept the USFL alive by really hammering it, making the NFL, because it is a monopoly. They did lose the court case, give them $1 billion of operating, and so much after that to keep the USFL afloat. And I would have said, put in the contract, let the USFL play in the spring. But because of politics, crooked jury, and that jury was crooked when they only gave him $1. You can't tell me that normal people with normal experiences say, well, you know, they are guilty, they are a monopoly, and we need to keep this USFL going. But they didn't. Oh damn, yeah. Aggie gear is very limited, unfortunately. I don't know why. Yeah, I was pissed. They in Charlotte, and they was like, we have not found any ENT gear, but what about North Carolina Central? You know, I almost broke my phone when they said that. That is our rivalries. Yeah. Yes. Okay, cool. All right, bet. I'll get you one of these Timberwolves or a Viking hat. Yeah, cool. You like hats? Yeah, good. I'll send you a hat too. Devontae just got off Madden, best game ever. Yeah, my son plays Madden too. He's played Madden too, but that's cool. That's real cool. Yeah, I only got when I quit playing ball, I only had 2 practice jerseys. I always thought wearing that shit on campus was corny. I really did. I just thought that was some corny shit. And then they gave me my jacket, my sweater. I don't even know. I think I could fit my sweater. Maybe one show I'll put my sweater on, but the sweater is bigger than the motherfucker, or tighter than the motherfucker. It's 40 years old, 37, 38 years old. So, yeah, I'll send that off too. Well, I'll send a hat. I'll wait till PJ. I want to show him this shit. So yeah, when I'm up, because I'm still not really walking too cool. I got the ace bandage on my leg, so it don't hurt. But it's like even walking in the grocery store, I was like, because I'm pretty sure I sprained my patella, and I did something to my meniscus. So when I get up and back again, walking again, I'll go out to the mall where I can walk for a minute. And yeah, I'll hook that up because Brother PJ say he wants some Timberwolves hats too. Tell you they had a Edwards jersey, the bright green jersey, because you know that bright green is their colors too, and it had the Jordan, but it was like a 52, so I don't think it'll fit me. is like a 52. I need like a 56. Um, yeah. If I get a good deal on the Vikings one too, I'll send you one of them. Because the Vikings is really, the gear ain't bad. The blue and gold is sweet. I like blue and gold. Well, that's the Aggies colors too. But yeah, I'll see what I can all put together. Definitely. But things are positive. Shortly after I did my show, I ended up snapping at my daughter's teachers, and I called and apologized. I apologized. I was sincere about it. I shouldn't have snapped. It wasn't it wasn't up to them. It was miscommunication with everybody. So, and I did apologize to the school, but it's like, I do see a part that, again, when I get the bad vibrations, you can watch my video. I'm like, this motherfucker, I just didn't like the way I know at times he has forgotten. Like the guy who keeps track, I know at times he has forgotten. Because I used to take my daughter and her neighbor home. They spatting. That ain't got nothing to do with me, but they spatting. And she was looking at me in the car. She was like, oh, but let them handle it. But there's other times where I know, and then, they don't call the children, Can't go wrong with purple and gold. Laker gang. Truth teller, I loved his hat. He had a nice Aggie hat on, or he had a nice Laker hat on maybe last night. I think they did a Inquisitors last night too. I loved it. He had a coat hat on today. I just love hats. I love the different emblems of the teams. I just do. I guess I'm as much as a tennis shoe collector as I am a hat collector. I collect hats too. Yeah, we talked about that. Devontae, we did. We talked about it, how it was ritual. And it's like, it's one of the most blatant sports rituals we've ever come across. I mean, it's blatant in so many ways. So I don't know what more I could say about that. That was a blatant ritual murder that no one else will conceive that. And as I said before, like, the one legacy that Zach Hubbard has given everybody is Zach Hubbard has given you basically how to look at just the codings. I mean, you don't even really need to follow the full story. You can just look at the headline coding or the headline buzzwords that go into coding, and So, I was at the Hawks Hornets game. The Magnus was in full effect. They was missing shots that should have went in. That's a good catch. And I saw a shot tonight by the Pelicans. I want to say one of the guys shot from the corner. And I just really, and I'm thinking about doing that, and maybe Lobo, maybe even you can put it together better. But hey, Marcus the Great. But I just really, I've done this in the past, is shown when people miss shots, how the energy of the shot is. I've showed that when dudes miss, and I saw a corner shot, and it's like, these are how dudes be missing. It's like, I'm liking again a whole bunch, but as the ball sails and you can see the ball's hard, it'll hit the back part of the rim and bounce back. If it's short, it'll hit if it's short on the side, it's going to hit. We don't see, but what we see with the manipulation, it'd be a long shot and it's rolled in, or it'd be a short shot and it's pulled over and then go on to the back. And don't think the swishes ain't. Now, I'm not saying guys can't make shots. Guys can make shots, but don't think that a swish shot is not manipulated too, because I even broke that down probably 2 years ago now, is the swishes be harder. When you see a swish that's manipulated shot, and I really picked this up watching Curry shots, you can see how they're just a little harder than normal. You can see where dudes swish it and it'd be a soft shot goes in. But you see manipulated swishes, it'd be accelerated and it hits the net harder. And so don't think because we mostly show where the balls roll. The same thing is when they swish. It's a different type of, when it swishes and they help it, it goes in differently. Normally basic swishes are a soft kind of shot, and it just falls into the net. But when you see that hard and fast into the net, it's manipulated. So check that out too. Swishes being manipulated too. But I want to do a thing on just missed shots. as I said about Edwards, when he hit that 1-3 I showed, he shot a shot in the second half that should have did what that shot did. He shot a shot from the side. He did it in the second half from, the opposite side. So it was the same shot as they showed him make, but on the opposite side of the court. The ball hit the other side of the backboard. Didn't hit nothing but the other side of the backboard. And that's what the one I showed the video of, he should have hit. That's what it should have done. It should have hit. And my shadowing is like terrible. And why? Okay. That is it. No. Okay. I'm not going to be able to take that out. Not tonight. Okay. I'll have to work on that. And so the second half, he shoots that shot, and that shot is just terrible, and it hits the backboard. And that's what that shot should have did. And that's one of the ones that I caught the best. And I hate they didn't show that a bunch of times, because if they had showed that a bunch of times, they just showed that view from behind, and you'd able to see where that ball angled away and angled into the basket. So we see it, and I think one thing I'll say that I love is it started thinkers, and that's what I love is the thinkers should be out there. Finals prediction. Let's say that rolling shot was happening a lot of Trae Young's floaters. Oh, did you see the one before halftime? Did you catch the one before halftime? It did the high bounce. It kind of went in. The one right before halftime, you can see that maybe I'm wrong about the high bounce, but it was definitely manipulated. The one right before halftime, they hit that one too. Craig Kane, finals prediction. I'm still saying Warriors, Sixers, and I would probably dare say the Sixers because Embiid didn't win in college. So, and then, I'm saying the Sixers. I think the Sixers are going to get it. And so I'm still going with Warriors and Sixers with the Sixers winning. I got to see how the money's moving too. I have to see. But right now I've got early bets in on that. I've taken the odds of those two teams making it. So kind of, hedge my bets a little bit. Few times tonight it did take look like they stopped the ball from going out of bounds. Yeah. That's the one I showed with Embiid when he passed the ball. It picked up momentum. And I think they can even cause turnovers because a lot of times dudes be handling the ball to just go. Now, what we saw in the college, and they tried to dispute this, was we saw the floor. We saw the floor where the big fella from Carolina hurt his ankle. And if you saw that shot, the floor moved. Now, this floors now are puzzles. Well, they've been puzzles for a while, for probably 40 years. Courts have been puzzles. And so that's part of the puzzle. I just wonder about that. Can they do the same thing when a dude is dribbling? Can they use the floor like that? You can't count anything out. I don't know why I keep looking down. I guess it's looking at this bright ass light. So, PJ. King Kane says Nets and Warriors only game this weekend on ABC, while the rest are on regular ESPN, TNT. The games are Friday too. Yeah, the games are Friday. There's 2 games Friday. Cleveland, I won't say plays. Hey, PJ, I want you to check this out. And I'm just to tell you how, like I bought this shit, and I was gonna send this one out to you, but I ain't gonna send this shit out to you. You see all that bubbling? You see all that? They fuck up when they get wet too. They even worse. You see that? So I don't send you nothing like that. But I looked at this shit and I was like, I don't want to send that out. So I wanted you to check that out. Man, I wouldn't send you that. I wouldn't send this to Sean either. This is too fucked up. See all that bubbling there? So, but when I go back out there, I'll grab some more, no doubt. I heard Memphis time. Yeah, Memphis, Chicago might be the second game. Yeah, it's 2 games Friday. It's 2 games on Friday. I know that much. So maybe that is the other game. 2 games on Friday. They show Zion working out again. But I'll say this, that brother, watch his high school game, watch him at Duke. Brother didn't really know how to run. He was taught how to run. And more importantly, he's got to be taught how to land. I've been thinking Philly versus Golden State has been seen on Barkley a lot of commercials. my hedge with Phoenix. Oh, no, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah. Philly, Phoenix, especially Steph gets hurt. Philly beating Suns. Good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. Because, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I didn't even consider that. That would be a real good point. And I think, you know, the knock on not winning the championships ain't always fair. And I'll say that him just taking that team, granted that they're fixed, but him taking that team to the championship, not saying it wasn't a miracle, but in a lot of ways it was. So you can't take away from him. His MVP season was more, I think it was better than the MVP season that Karl Malone had. Maybe Malone won it twice, but the season they gave Karl Malone MVP, and really it should have been Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan led the league in scoring again. Hey, Valerie, thank you so much for coming by. You driving to New York, Nets got them bids in. There you go. Well, safe travel for sure, dear. Everybody send her safe energy. Well, thank you, Mr. Lamborghini Leg Lock. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. That's interesting, though. I have to look at them numbers, too, on what the numbers is on that. I might throw a couple bets on that. Because, yeah, that would make sense with Barkley, seeing Barkley so much. It would just make you, like we saw with Haskins, is just wonder who's next. KD, number 7, they the 7th seed. KD, number 7, they the 7th seed. Yeah, okay. I really have to think about that Barkley connection. That might have a little bit of merit. I kind of like that. I say yours is coming soon. Oh, okay. Bet. Yeah, I'm gonna go get some more though, because this one I ain't gonna send this one out. If you ever get it wet, this shit is all gonna. And I don't know if y'all know, you get these hats wet. I had a hat. My daughter was, she was still in dance. It was gymnastic and dance kind of combined, and it had poured, and we only had to go a few feet into the dance studio. So I'm sitting there and I'm just smelling. And like, it wasn't but a few people in there, you know, early morning. It ain't a whole bunch of parents. A lot of parents would just drop their children off and leave. And I was just sitting there waiting for it to get done. And I'm just smelling. Then I take my hat off and I'm like, damn, it was like my Dodger hat. They're like, oh, some of these hats, you get them wet, they stink to all high hell. But I know you get this one wet with all these bubbles. Yeah, this shit. Yeah, I can get better hats than that. Now I got to cheat. So, oh, you got this one? Okay. Oh, you got that one? Okay. Because yeah, this is a snapback too. That's why I'd ask you. And it's what does that mean? Yeah, Michael McNess. So you know, yeah, Mitchell and Ness. So, but it's a snapback, and I really don't have a whole bunch. Now this one I got on, this is a snapback, but this is the mesh, and this is old stock. Hey, Conspiracy Universe. Okay, if you got that one good, then yeah, I definitely won't send that one to you. Hey, what's happening? Conspiracy University. And I gotta watch your latest video. He dropped another one. If you had already talked about Dwayne Haskins death, what were your thoughts on it? Yeah, well, my thoughts was, you know, it's one of the most blatant ritual deaths that we've seen. I mean, it just, we can't make any sense of this death at all. I mean, all of it makes no sense whatsoever. None of it makes sense. And as I said, somebody drugged that man. Somebody gave him drugs somewhere and drugged him and left him out there without good sense. Because there's no way any person in your right mind would look. I mean, again, you're talking about 100 yards. I would say a car would damn near have to be a quarter mile. It had 14 seconds to get you. So the time you think you could beat it, you say just like a Mack truck or a dump truck like that, the Kenworth, it is going to take you, just say you got 15 seconds to beat that one. 15 seconds. Okay? So you're telling me that this man could not make a 15-second decision and beat a truck to a spot. In your right mind, you can do it. It's going to take you 4 seconds to dash across the highway to the middle beam. One of the only people they interviewed that said he saw him in the mirror and he saw the dude walking and was trying to cross. He was worried about it. That's what the guy who drove by him said. He said, I saw him walking and I saw him that he was trying to cross the street. I was worried that he wouldn't get hit. So don't know how much traffic, don't know if he beat one car coming this way. But again, crossing the highway, and again, it was a divided highway. You're not going to be blocked from one and not see the other. I mean, you're just not going to blindly run like that. You know the cars are traveling too fast. And the safe thing to do is travel at an overpass. That is the safe thing to do. Number one is you can just stay where you're at, and you find a marker, and you call somebody. I'm at marker 75. Come get me. That is the smart thing to do. I'm at the marker 75. Come get me. Yeah, I got really, really bad shadowing. I'm sorry, bad shadowing tonight. So it was total ritual. I didn't like the way they hung his jerseys up at Ohio State. They remind me of kind of like hanging somebody. It's like they put him all the way high. I didn't see why the need to put him up high. They could have put him up, a little bit above, but they put him all the way to like the top of the fence. I thought, again, that seemed to be a ritual. And then they put both the 7s together, the 44. So, or if that's 49, I guess. I use the spray for clippers inside my hats. Oh, okay. And this Cool Care. You can thank me later. Oh, bet. Okay. I use the spray because there's the spray I would get smells kind of like strawberries a little bit inside my hats. Cool Care. And this Cool Care. Okay. Thank you. Oh yeah, the Redskins ain't never gonna die. Like a lynching, yeah, Valerie. That's what it reminded me of when I saw it. I saw because they put the two hats, the two numbers, the way there, and they just had them too high, and that's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of a lynching. So I thought that was disrespectful too. So that was just more that just seeing it. All this is ritual. That's all that meant, and it's sad. I mean. We can't really it's easy to knock them off when they say they OD, but to think that we so stupid that really a Mack truck, that shows you can't be in the right mind. You can't be in the right mind. I don't want to hear alcohol. Alcohol, you more fearful when you alcohol. When you walking, you fearful of everything. You ain't gonna just be like, yeah. But where was his phone? Why couldn't he call? Why couldn't he just stood where he was? Hell, police would come. If you just on a marker, people started, hey, there's a motherfucker out there on marker 75. You might want to check on him. He ain't moving. You have your cell phone? Where's the cell phone? And why did he feel compelled to cross the street unless he was forced to cross the street? That's another thing. They could have been sitting somewhere. It's like, yeah, you don't run. We're going to shoot you. You fearful for your life, not in your right mind. What is you going to do? So, yeah. So, yeah, it's blatant in our face. Blatant right in our face. And you know what's going to be interesting? Who has the life insurance? Now, did he sign his contract? I think he did. Yeah, March is passed. So, yeah, they got to, April. Yeah, you got to be signed. So he had to be signed by Pittsburgh. So he got his contract. I wonder if they had an insurance policy for him. And I hope his parents did too. But I guarantee Pittsburgh had an insurance policy that went to them. It's probably in the contract. Call the number on the back of driver's license. State troopers will bring you a gallon of gas or take you to get some. There you go. I don't know if they'll do that here, but that's a good policy. I mean, I got that insurance. It's like I break down all that shit. Come get me, give me a hotel if I'm traveling, all that. So they'll come get me. They'll tow the car, give me another car, all that. Like the Hunger Games. Yeah. I mean, all those probabilities. And if you drug too, you'll panic. You'll do what's told to you. So I don't want to hear that shit if, they're going to go into his thing, his autopsy and saying the blood alcohol level. Was it anything else in the system? And don't say that this man is using drugs down there working out. Now, if you say he maybe smoke weed, okay, we can believe that. Weed ain't going to make you run in front of a truck. Now, Richard Pryor said that when you fall in love, you wouldn't see a truck coming. You'd be so heartbroken you wouldn't be thinking about it. I can see that, but I don't think that applied in this situation. You know, you can be in love and be so blinded where you wouldn't see a Kentwood pickup truck barreling at you. And the thing about, I don't blame the driver because you don't have the reaction time. All that weight, miles per second, and all that weight, you know, them trucks ain't known for their stopping prowess, stopping quickness. No, they're not made to stop. They're made to stop and hold loads once they stop. They're not made to move and stop in record time like a car. So there was something there, some type of threat. And remember, you know, you get certain hallucinogenics or some kind of drugs where you suggestions, you know, some drugs you be more suggestive. Yes, they're painting. Yes, they're painting the bullshit narrative. Exactly, a bullshit narrative. That's what's gonna come. Exactly. And the lady he was dating were having problems when he played for the Redskins. There you go. And remember, he did something at a party or something, and they set him out a game. Bogusly set him out a game. Very bogusly. So it was a shaming. His whole pro career was about shaming him. And let's never forget how they tried to hurt after RG3 was hurt because younger Gruden didn't want RG3. Remember, he didn't like him. He wanted the Michigan State quarterback to play, which was, now see, that Kirk Cousins drafting tells you a mocking. Because they said the owner wanted RG3, the others wanted Cousins. The Schottenheimer, I think, was still there. And if you really look at, let me show you how they script games. RG3's breakout season and Kaepernick's breakout season was almost identical. Think about it. RG3 having them long runs like Kaepernick on the sweep, you know, the option. They were almost scripted the same way if you watch them. Somebody wants to go back and edit that, you can probably find the same plays run for both of them. Speed option. Same thing they ran for RG3. And Groden tried to get him hurt in the preseason game by putting him with a weak line and kept calling passes. Now shotgun, drop back. And that Stephen A. Smith, that's one time he defended a brother. He was like, it was appalling the way that Gruden tried to get RG3 hurt. And of course, RG3 was stupid. He fucked his knee up during the playoffs when he shouldn't have been playing. He was hurt already, and they talked him into playing, and it ruined his career. But I'll say this, RG3 be wearing, he is the best dressed. his suits be like, I like seeing brothers that know how to dress. RG3, if you watch him do games, he does college. His suits don't be playing. Like Charles Barkley, he is shaped so funny where nothing he wears looks good on him. No matter the upper class of the suit, he still always looks funky in clothes. He just does not have a body for clothes. Shaq more so. But Barkley never had square shoulders, so he has the non-football shoulders which slant. You know, I got them now because I'm older. But when I was younger, my shit was all squared. That's what wearing shoulder pads for years does to you. If you wear shoulder pads from the time you're 8 years old till you well into your 20s, you get square shoulders. Even if you play high school football, you pretty much get square shoulders. I mean, it's just the way it builds you. Wearing those shoulder pads builds your shoulders up. So Barkley doesn't look good in clothes, but RG3 be killing them. I mean, this shit be just the crispiest. And I like seeing it. It's like I was watching one of Bush's people was on one of them Fox shit. His cufflinks was on point. The way his suit fit him, the way it's like, I hate when that button shows. You know, you gotta do it all the way. You should not have that button showing. A lot of cats be wearing the suits and you see their button. You shouldn't see that button. And I'm losing the name. What's the gangster movie? But where they had the the lapels kind of covered some of the tie. Wise guys, yeah. And where they had the special kind where the lapels covered up the tie a little bit. That shit. And that's what I always loved about watching television, especially watching soap operas. Yeah, at one time RG3, but like look at his career, not a strong passer like Kaepernick. And I did a beautiful breakdown of Kaepernick, not hating on him, but just showing you the plays and his skills. And again, and sometimes you got to play. And he just couldn't make the plays. He was terrible at reading. His accuracy was terrible. His balls was late. Hey, what's happening, Lorenzo? But look at those two careers, and you see they're almost identical. They had the same script for both players. I would say RG3 was more talented. I would say that. He was more talented than Kaepernick. Probably faster, too, at one point. Kaepernick ran straight up and down, Eric Dickerson style. He really didn't have a whole lot of shiftiness. It's like he turned the corner, and of course, you know how they do the movie tackles. They do the movie tackles, like the lunge, But I show videos where the players put themselves out of position. I mean, so it's easy to see script. Like I was saying with Towns shooting layups. Watch when you watch the playoff games when they play Memphis. Watch when the Timberwolves play Memphis. Watch when Towns shoots layups going to his strong right, not his floater, but going to the basket or going to the basket strong left. Every time he pretty much falls. I mean, he's got that perfected where he falls, but if you miss, you put yourself out of position. And he does this on purpose. And as we were saying last night, he is the fool. Remember, he had a commercial or two. They have a local commercial. Him, Towns, and Edwards have a local commercial. I want to say it's one of the Waters or something like that. It's a local commercial. But Towns had he had a couple national commercials. They didn't let him make the All-Star team twice. Boy, that wind's still whipping. I know this mic will pick all that up. I was watching the show the other night. The mic picked that up too. I was like, oh, I can hear it. Hey, Mr. Taylor, what's happening? Thank you for the kind words. Oh, that is so kind of you. I appreciate that. And may the same energy go to your family as well. Thank you. Thank you so much. And then the Tyson Fury fight is next week. People been calling me saying if I'm taking bets on that. Not yet. Now, didn't they have to pay? What's the name? Didn't I see that they had to pay him $500,000 because he was the number one contender, and didn't have to pay him not to fight. So, and because nobody wants to see a fourth fight between them anyway. But I think they had to pay whatever his name is that lost the 3 fights or 2 fights. I think they had to pay him. They had to pay him $500,000 not to fight. When my Ravens played them in the Super Bowl, was afraid for Ravens because of Cap, but we exposed Cap and his read option. We had blown them out, the lights out. If they didn't go out, yeah. I say. And the defense, it was hard to score against that defense. He had good players at every position. So I think you're right. And the lights are out. Zach did a good breakdown of why the lights went out at the time they went out. All that shit was like, yeah, I was all pure bullshit. Do you think the NBA will come to an end when everyone finds out most of it's scripted? Or do people enjoy entertainment too much? Yeah. Jane, yeah, a movie is scripted and people still go. People know that since wrestling tells that it's scripted, wrestling's never been more popular. You can bet on wrestling matches. They got in-fight wrestling, so you can bet on all that. So people still, yeah, Tyson Fury is next Saturday. I think it's the 23rd. I think that is this next Saturday. Yeah. Tyson Fury fights next Saturday. You can look up who he fights. But Wilder had to step aside. Wilder had to step aside. And I'm pretty sure they paid him. But yeah, he fights next week. Not this weekend, it's next weekend. I'm pretty sure it's the 23rd. So I'm going to have the app ready because I ain't paying for that shit. It ain't worth paying for. But yeah, it's like movies. Movies are scripted and people don't care. So even wrestling, they know people. It's wrestling has never been more popular. It's like when they told the wrestling was scripted, people didn't care. It made it more popular. That's why I said wrestling was the easiest to transition when this bug was going and they shut down everything else. Did you see wrestling change? Their script was the same. So wrestling did it better than anybody. They did it better than anybody, showing the scripting. The bubble NFL, the empty stadiums, all that exposed the scripting even more. There was nothing exciting about, especially the bubble thing. With LeBron being so old and don't play defense, that bubble was the only way they could script for him to win. I don't know if they're going to ever script another game. His skills have diminished too much. Yeah, Spence fights this weekend. Yep. And that remind me, I got to put some money on that. And I got to get the app for that one as well. And if I don't fuck it. I don't care that much about it. It's just people be bugging me to break it down. So I'll probably have to get the app. You were talking about pirating on your show. We watched your phone and we know you pirated between. It ain't bigger things, bigger crimes going on in the world. You talking about Biden sending $800 million to Ukraine. And for all the people that these elites have misused, that suffered through Jim Crow, because it was poor people too. Poor Europeans suffered through Jim Crow too. I mean, they benefited, but they've suffered as well. You'd rather send taxpayer money over there than put it here. You could end homelessness in one swoop of a pen. Little houses are successful, but little houses show you, and this is the thing. This is their argument. If you listen to Fox, this is what they'll tell you. Well, if we build the homeless little homes, people won't want to be productive. The homeless won't be productive. See, what they don't tell you, we use socialism. They don't want to tell you that. Don't you know people used to work 18 hours a day? 18 hours a day was the standard work day around the turn of the century, that they made poor Europeans, melanated people work in the factories. They put children in the factories, 18 hours a day. Go home, go to sleep, eat, go back and do it again. And you worked every day, 18 hours every day. Under socialism is an 8-hour day. Under socialism is a 40-hour week and overtime after that. Holiday pay, socialism. Overtime, socialism. So they pick and choose to try to tell you yeah, wrestling is more mainstream now than it was. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's way more mainstream. I remember they sell out. They sell out stadiums. And let me tell you how popular wrestling is. We have a local wrestling division, and they be on TV. I mean, they be on the free TV, but they be on TV with commercials and everything. It be shot at the grade school in Hopkins. There's a pro wrestling league to be on TV every Saturday afternoon, like when I grew up. Yeah, it's true. They don't think Braun is going to get another ring anytime soon. Maybe he wants one with his son, then retire. Yeah, I don't even see him getting it then. Well, thank you, DeJuan. That's so cool. I'm waiting on the clone Spence. Yeah, don't know how he made flipping out that car. Whew. How'd you make that? I flipped in a car and I got 400 stitches, saw my skull. So I can imagine what it is when you get out, because your body, again, I took traffic investigation. I got a degree in traffic investigation, as far as what the police showed. And I probably could have pursued it after being a police officer, but I took the classes. I have that. And what was just horrified me about motorcycles is once once something stops you or you hit something, your body is still flying at the speed of what you was accelerating at. So if you're going 50 and you hit something and you leave that bike, your body is still going 50. So for him to get thrown out like that, I mean, it's just no way. It's just no way. No way that you could sustain that with not being more injured. What Fox said deserves Stone Cold Steve Austin. Fox said deserves Steve Cold Austin. I had to break the Yeti back out with the tribbles. You know, y'all Star Trek people know the trouble with tribbles. I don't want to. I don't know which one is giving me that. Let's see. Is it this one? No, it's this one. No, it's coming from somewhere else. Ah, shit. Yeah, maybe it's just the way I'm seeing it. Maybe it's just the way I'm seeing it. I guess now, okay, I want to, since we talk about hoops, I'm gonna put this in. You know, I always talk about Shotty Vaughn, the young man that played ball with my son, and this is his is this his 5th year? This is his 4th, maybe 5th year out the league. But I noticed the player played last night, Tony Snell. Tony Snell and Shotty, I think, came in the same time. Tony Snell was a free agent. Tony Snell broke in with Chicago. And then while Shotty was there, they traded for Tony Snell. Milwaukee traded to bring Tony Snell over. Tony Snell and Shotty are almost the same size, damn near the same type player. I would say Shotty had a little better skill. Snell might have been a slightly better defender, but Shotty was long. So Tony Snell has played for 5 teams. Shotty got traded to Orlando. He got traded to Orlando. Orlando cut him. Never played for Orlando. He ended up getting picked up by Dallas. As far as I know, he's never played for Dallas. How has Tony Snell survived and Shotty didn't survive? Tony Snell wasn't, as far as I know, a high school All-American. He wasn't a standout. He did not get drafted in the first round. And you're telling me a first-round investment in Shotty, he shouldn't be in the league. You see how they build you up to spit you out. There's no reason that Tony Snell should have been traded for. You had a player like that already. So it just shows you. DeAngelo, whatever his name was with Milwaukee, was hurt most of the time. Shorter than Shotty. Didn't shoot as well. Still got the opportunity. I've been meaning to ask you, send me some of the info on Shotty. Oh, yeah. I mean, his real name is Rashad Vaughn. That's what you look up. Rashad Vaughn. He went to UNLV. He was freshman of the year in that conference. But they didn't really win that. But he was freshman of the year. He averaged about 16 points a game. He wasn't picked in the lottery. He was the 15th pick. The lottery is the top 14. But, yeah, look him up. Rashad Vaughn. He went to Cooper, Robbinsdale. It'll say one of those. It might say Minnesota, Cooper's, Robbinsdale. Technically it's Cooper, but Cooper is in Robbinsdale, and there's 2 high schools in Robbinsdale. It's the west side. As I said before, Minneapolis does not have a west side. This west side is called Robbinsdale. It's a separate little town. But yeah, that's the best I could give you. I don't know if I can send you anything other than that, but his real name is Rashad. Rashad Vaughn is his real name. He's got to be about 25 years old now. The WWE around 201 was their best product. Oh, okay. But they still sell out stadiums. Snell is trash. He played at the game I went to in Lost Saturday. Yeah, okay, so yeah, okay. That's why he played last night. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense now. Because I was like, Snell's still in the league. Not to say Shotty was the greatest, but he was better than Snell. And there's no reason he couldn't have fit in like that. I was looking forward to what beer you was drinking tonight. Wish you were the you wish you were me. Okay. I found him. Yeah, 25. Yeah. Rashad Vaughn. And their family's from Detroit was in there. His dad is cooler than a mug. And it was like his dad would be fired up coming to the game. They go by us, Bud, smell the whole crew, he a little drunk. I kind of knew his girl too. And they probably still don't live too far from me. You know, as I moved out to town, I didn't go to where he worked as much, because where he works is like, it's a dentist's office. It's a community center, but a big giant community center. So a lot of local things they offer to the north side of Minneapolis. I haven't lived in the north side 7 years, 6 years, 6 years, going on 7. So yeah. Shotty a nice boy. I've known him since he was like 7th, 8th grade. So I've known his parents that long. I wonder where his mother lives. His mother lived right on the hood. When I talk about Prince's sister living on, she lives on what's called the lowers. It's got, in Minneapolis, you got the uppers and the lowers. His mother lived near the lowers, but she lived like right off 55. So I wonder if he bought his mother a house to get her out of the north side, because that's where he lived. That's why he went to Cooper. He lived right there because he lived with his mother. With all the rationally sacrifices, definitely makes you wonder. Crispin and his family, very strange. Of course, Valerie, of course. I don't know what happened to Rashad, drafted in 15. Yeah, I think the last I knew he was playing in Turkey. Yep, that's the last I knew he was playing in Turkey. He's playing pro ball in Turkey, which is one of the topper leagues. So he'll play good ball in Turkey. Again, when you play in Europe, they play tournament ball, you know, kind of like what I was doing when I was playing money ball. I mean, you know, where you find these tournaments, and as I said, like a lot of tournaments was 10 grand. You know, you had to have a couple grand to go in, and everybody put in. So say it'd be like 14, 15 teams, and you know, everybody had to put so much money up. And I've said before, dudes would get mad because I would get the most money, but I'm like, damn, I got to pay for you. I got to pay for you. I got to pay for you. I don't want to hear that shit, because dudes want money. When you win the money, dudes want money. And if they ain't, you know, I would give them money compared to what they put in. And then, you know, I got to the point where dudes didn't even want to pay for their rooms. I'm like, come on now. So at one point I did. When I was doing well, I did. I paid all that shit at one time. But after a while, that gets old. You know, you done made money with these dudes, and then here you traveling, and they still say they can't pay their own rooms. You know, after a while, you get, you know, you get tired of that kind of thing, because you see that they ain't trying to advance. As I said, I had a big tournament I could have got into here. It was almost going to be like an all-star game, and could have gave the guys a lot of juice. As I said, a couple dudes, you know, in our summer leagues, you know, our pro-am summer leagues, we got dudes in school. We had one guy who was like, they called about him. He's like, come see him. We played. They gave him a scholarship like that. Scholarship like that. He wasn't really doing nothing. He had went somewhere and came back. And I'm like, what you doing here? And so he played with us, went to college, okay? Played there 2 or 3 years, did well. He played with me on another year, and there was a pro team there, and he went overseas. I think I told you the story between everybody was looking forward to him and Chris Crawford, because Chris Crawford was already in the league, and everybody was looking forward to him and Chris Crawford playing each other. Chris played, he's out of Marquette. He played with Atlanta. And because he was leaving to go play pro ball over in Europe, that didn't happen. That he didn't come. I walk in the gym, but normally we walk in the gym together, and everybody's, where is he at? Oh, yeah. It's like, where is he at? Van Sickle. Take me Meech. His nickname is Meech. Demetrius Van Sickle. 6'9", could handle. But yeah. I took him to a tournament. He was just destroying people. I was like, a lot of old dudes on this Benton Harbor team, and he just destroyed them. I mean, he was just killing them. They was like, you had to bring him, didn't you? He was destroying all my friends. Win or lose, Pat Beverly already won his championship. Beating his old team, the Clippers. I'll say I agree with that. Is that what he was crying about? Yeah, that's what he was crying about. That's what he was crying about. It was interesting how when you saw Pat Beverly jump on the table at the Target Center like that, El Amin had done that when his high school team won the championship. He jumped on the table like that. So I thought it was interesting that Bev did that. Edwards did it for a few minutes. He was just copying Beverly. But I remember El Amin when they won, because he went to Boys High. They lost the football championship this year. And they was close to closing that high school. And at the last minute, they kept it open, brought some more students. Oh, and I caught this on Fox. Check this out. They said that Patrick Henry High School, again, it's one of the high schools in the hood. Check this out now. I was saying they was about to close Boys Highs. They was about to close Patrick Henry, because at one point we lived 2-3 blocks from Patrick Henry. Both these used to be melanated schools. You know how they saved those schools? Patrick Henry is probably now, even though it's in the hood, the melanated neighborhood, is probably 90% Hmong. And North High School, same thing. All of a sudden, a lot of Hmong, because the Hmong, and it's still, I mean, again, this is the local school. The schools in Minneapolis, and I don't know if I want to say they're so bad, but they're school of choice. So you can bust out of Minneapolis because, again, a lot of these schools don't have melanated children. And without melanated children being bussed in to get the government money, you know, the government integration and all that, the government squeezes them. So they have to accept all these students. Like we was living in Hopkins, we moved, and I was saying before, it took my children probably 45 minutes to get to school, especially in the wintertime. Like sometime my son was supposed to be home at like 4:30. He'd go get home 6, 7 because traffic would be so bad. The buses would get caught. You know, and I'm calling, I'm like, where the fuck is my son? They're like, we're sorry. But yeah, that's why Pat Bev was crying. So yeah, that was their championship. That's why my oldest son texted me. He's like, damn. But what do they do in baseball now? Every playoff game they win in baseball, they do the champagne thing. You notice that? If you get into the playoffs, you had the champagne thing, even the play-in games, which, you know, that was just for the winning it. Or maybe winning the pennant. But no, every round you win in baseball, you had the champagne. But yeah, no beer tonight. I didn't tell the full story. I want to tell the full story. So I told the story, and I want to tell the full story. On slides, I didn't really get to tell the full story. It wasn't that I didn't get to it. It was just trying to remember the shit. So let me tell the full story. So someone stole, my in-laws were stupid as hell, and they left a baby pit bull. No. It was well, just say pit bull. I know what kind of dog. I'll think about it in a minute. But they left it. It was like maybe 2 months old. And they left. We went like to Lake Michigan. We was gone almost all day. We come back and the puppy's gone. Well, one of the neighbors came to us and said that they saw a dude jump over the fence and grab the dog. So I kind of had an eyewitness, and we're like checking out to look for the dog. Because again, you know, I felt I was the baddest motherfucker in the world, and somebody took the dog and I could handle it. I was going to go handle it. So we're looking for the dog, and we're about to give up. And then we see this large crowd of people. And the person that supposedly has some information was like, I think it's one of them. Or I think it's one of them. And so I walk into the middle and I ask this dude, like, what's up with the dog? And then these dudes are all looking at each other like, what the fuck is he talking about? What dog? What dog? And it hit me that I am in the middle of what was soon to be a gang fight. I mean, there was really two sides about to fight. This is what I walked in the middle of. It was probably, I would say it was 30 to 40 people that I walked in the middle of. I mean, it was just motherfuckers everywhere. And this is what was about to happen. Well, what happened was very soon, instead of them being mad at each other, they started getting mad at me. But they made one mistake. They all started to take off their shirts. Well, they was talking shit. They started taking off their shirts. So when all these dudes took off their shirts, when they all came back like they was going to rush me, I pulled both them Glock. Well, one was a Glock, one was a Smith. I pulled them out. And I'm like, look, I don't want to hurt none of y'all, but I will. I will hurt y'all. So I'm sorry, it ain't y'all. I'm going to back out. And so what's funny is, and I'll tell this part in a second. So what's funny is they chased my truck. Now I done pulled guns on these dudes. Once I get in my car, they start chasing the truck. Which, I had an OJ Simpson. I had the Bronco. But the funniest thing was, my wife looked at me and said, why did they take off their shirts so you could pull out your guns? She said, I didn't understand it. Why did they take off their shirts? What did they think you was going to do? And I'm like, yeah, there's a bunch of dumbasses that's about to get their asses shot for fucking with me. So that's the full story of what happened. But my wife, I never forget, she's like, why did they let you pull out your guns? And what, like, why did they take their shirts off? So they was quite surprised that, I'm holding them 40s, and them 40s, shit, I'm going to think they still held about 20 each. So it would have been 20 motherfuckers laying down. You can bet that. That's like an NCAA tournament where they slap their name on the bracket to show that they're going. But okay, you know where they got that from? Check this out. You know where they got that slapping on the bracket? I caught this. Next month, we should start seeing the TNT money tournaments, because money tournaments has become a national thing now. The TNT people all go play in different regions to try to make the finals and play for the $1 million. And, they only keep 7 to 8 in the coaches, and, they all have different shares they'll get. But that's what they did. They the ones that started that. After the money tournament, the TNT tournaments, they're the ones that would slap their names. And so now you see that the NCAA copied that, because the NCAA just started doing that after the money tournaments did it. So that's where they get that shit from. But yeah, I was, I didn't go in there with the thing of I was just going to confront a person like, what's out with the dog, and maybe I'd have to whoop his ass over the dog or some shit. But yeah, I was about to shoot them motherfuckers for real, because it wasn't looking good. And then the next day, not even the next day, well, yeah, somebody was like, man, was that you that went in front of them people? They was about to fight and shit. And I'm like, yeah, and they didn't even end up fighting. This is the thing. They didn't even end up fighting. The gangs was about to fight, and they didn't end up fighting. And it's like, yeah, they was about to get on. They was like, after they all fuck with you, and they was like, they just said fuck it, and they didn't end up fighting. But yeah. But my wife was just, I still hear that. Like, why did they take their shirts off? What did they think you were gonna do? Goddamn right. I'm about to get up out of here. That's a crack up story. Hey, where you say, what was this? Oh yeah, they oh yeah, they was about to fight each other. They was about, and I stepped right into that shit. A gang war. It was about to be a gang war. They just all gonna be fighting and shit. Yeah, and I stepped right in the middle. Yeah. But that's my adventure for the night. What's the time like? Okay, good. Yeah, it's just you run into funny shit, and you just run into the funniest shit in the world. Oh yeah, I fucked that whole game. Remember Forrest Gump be like, I'm sorry I ruined your Black Panther party. And that's kind of was like, I guess I should have said, hey, y'all get back to doing the shit y'all was about to do. Oh, but just my wife's face, that shit was just so funny. It's like, what did they think he was gonna do? And then to chase my car, did to still chase the truck. And it's like, what? And she was like, what do you, like, if you stop, what is they gonna do again? Take their shirts off? That's what she's like. Why are they chasing the truck? And of course, I'd be like, what did you go gain? You've already let me go away. So what did you go gain from chasing the truck? So I never understood that part anyway. It was like, motherfuckers. See, that's why I say stupid people is in the world. These people, I guess that had to show they was tough. Yeah, motherfucker, you better drive away. We was gonna fuck you up if you didn't drive away. Maybe that's what made them not fight the gang war. We was gonna fuck him up. If he would have pulled them guns out, you know how motherfuckers be. You know that old joke where the cop stops his brother, and then the cop goes, and the cop comes back, and he slaps the shit out of the brother. The brother would be like, what you do that for? And he says, well, I wanted to show you what would happen if you said I wish he would have. Motherfuckers like, I wish he would have did that shit. So the joke is, I just wanted to slap you to show you what happened, so you couldn't stay if I wish you would have, So it was that kind of thing. It's like, yeah. And I couldn't tell you what gangs. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was some disciples, and maybe it was some vice lords in town. I forget. And this was like, shit, 92. Well, I had the Broncos, so it had to be later than 90. We had the dog. We had the dog. when Brennan was born. So probably 95, maybe like the summer of 95, somewhere in there. Because my son was born. So we must have taken him wherever we went, was gone all day in the dog. Bridges got ejected and was trying to hit a fan with his mouthpiece and hit a little girl. I wonder if that went off the script. Yeah, it did. That definitely went off the script, because you know how quick they had him apologize for that? He said he was trying to hit a fan and he was sorry. Then if he could personally meet the person, which, you know, unless they got season tickets, you don't really know who they are, because a lot of times people sell the season tickets. But being a playoff game, they probably could find out who the person was. But that's what he said. He wanted to apologize to her personally. But, you know, you get mad and do shit. But, yeah, you can't. Almost like simple assault. I don't know. I guess they want to pursue it. But because he did throw it, it's like, you know, dudes have thrown water bottles up into the stands. Remember, Kyrie kicked the ball up into the stands, and yeah, that's a no-no. They fined him, and you know, watch. I wonder if we can find the footage of that, because they whoop some. They damn near whoop some niggas' ass to get that ball. They you could see him scrapping with people to get that ball back. So yeah, I saw that too. The fact that they pulled a gun on them and they backed down, so they had to restore some sort of man by chasing after you. That's the only way I can figure why they was chasing me, to show that it was tough. To show me it was tough. I guess so. And my wife and I just chuckled about that for years. You know, we just chuckled about that. That's why she knew. When she was with me, she knew. She knew. I mean, I don't mean to brag, but I was faced with guns on me and broke those people down. Guns facing me. I ain't panicked and took it to my advantage. And when neither one of us got hurt, and we didn't get robbed. And again, that's what they wanted to do. You selling weed, they wanted to bum rush you with 2-3 guns, and then, you know, rape your girl. If there were women in the house, they would rape them. And while you sit there with guns on you, take your money, take your weed, and rape your woman. So yeah, that wasn't happening. That wasn't happening. That was not happening. I should have wished we had the camera phones back then. Took a picture of that door. That door was lit up with shots. But yeah, I still got out of it alive and safe. And when I got to shooting at their ass, they ran away. And really, one of them I could have killed. I had the opportunity to kill him. I know he didn't have no guns, and I was like near him with guns. We were both in our cars, and I had both my guns. And yeah, I could have killed him. But what would that have got me? You know, I couldn't have claimed self-defense unless he shot at me first, and then I could have killed him. But because he didn't see me, and they moved out. Like, that was the last time I ever saw the cat. But they moved out after the shootout. Him and because he was like, had a girl that lived the opposite of me on the other end. They moved out that night. Because yeah, I wasn't gonna try to hurt this woman in them, but they moved out. Like the next day or two, they moved out. I saw him one day because he didn't see me. I was standing in my car looking at him, and I had both my pistols out in my hands, like 2-3 cars apart. And I was like, the ego says I should just kill this guy right here. But, you know, it's like, yeah, it ain't self-defense. Unless I can prove he shot at me first. So, yeah, with a mouthpiece lawsuit, COVID-19, yeah. Yeah, you ain't getting out there with that ball. Watch that video. That is interesting, because the dude catches the ball. The dude is like kind of trying to keep it. Yeah, they tackle his ass. If I remember right, I'm pretty sure they tackled him and they got that ball back. That's a no-no. Like, you're not keeping the field goal. Like football, you can get some of the running back balls, because as far as manipulated passes, can't really say about manipulated passes. I haven't really studied enough. I imagine slightly, because they can manipulate the basketballs, but yeah, basketballs, no. That's why I don't think the passing balls are manipulated, because remember, the balls they punt and the balls for field goal are not the same balls. The punter punts his balls. The kickoff, the field goal kicker, the person that kicks off, they kick their balls. They don't kick the balls they play with. And I don't know if people know that. They don't kick the balls they play with. Not like high school where the ball you play with, you kick. No. They only kick their own balls. Punter's got his own set of balls that they put in play. Kicker, kickoffer, same thing. So, which that's a way of fixing it too. They should play with it, kick the same ball, but they don't. What's your take on the Brooklyn Bomber? Well, you know, we did I was on a panel with Ciova and some other brothers, and we broke that down. And Ciova was playing his videos. Last I knew, last time I checked, it still wasn't up. So maybe it's up, but last time I checked, it wasn't up. So, oh, here we go. Last time I checked, it wasn't up. So we talked about it last night. It's too clean. There's too much of the story. It's too clean. What's funny is a lot of stuff he said was manosphere stuff, which was interesting. Ciova did a breakdown of all the persons that he was subscribed to. And again, Nick Taylor hit me to David Carroll. The only little bit Nick put on there is the only thing I've ever heard of David Carroll. Don't know who he is, but I guess the guy listened to him. I guess he listened to the Samuels guy. I've never listened to Samuels. So I guess a lot of the stuff was, but it was a lot of that kind of, but it was just, it seems, and I know MK Ultra, but it seems too clean. It seems too clean. I mean, even going back, looking at Timothy McVeigh, it's hard to believe the cats that was once involved ain't always involved. You know, this kind of thing, what they say is once CIA, always CIA, kind of once Army, always Army in some ways. So this cat is it's just too clean, too much, too coincidental. And so, and we see when we saw the 13, that was the first thing is I was like, this has got to be, you know, it's just too clean. Yeah, that's the reason why they don't have that net. They have the net behind the field goal pole. Can't afford to let the ball go into the crowd. It's always been like that. I mean, that's probably 30 years of them nets. 30 years of them nets, because you see players always throw the ball in the stands, and that used to be like a fine. You know, one time it's like a $50 fine, but not anymore. They don't care about the balls they play with. Frank James sounded like Jesse James' brother. Exactly. That's what I said last night on Ciova. Or I gave that to Sly. Frank James is Jesse James' brother. Exactly. So, see the guys that are most are not manosphere, but their talking points represent that. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So his talking points was the same. And then they showed him in the vans. Again, to get vans, because they said the van wasn't his name unless they lied. They said the van was registered to somebody else, but that somebody else would have to be, you know, like who has the van. So, and I've never known it to be cheaper. This is another part. I've never known it to be cheaper to rent vans than jump on the bus. It's a bus. It's a mega bus. It's a bus that will take you from Minneapolis to Chicago. So it's a bus he could take to go up to New York State. So, but to rent those big boxes and drive across country, how economical is that? You know, the more like look up how much it takes to drive a car across country, to drive a renter all the way to New York. I can't. Where did he get the money? He was on Social Security. He said he was waiting for his stimulus payment or some shit. So I don't know. I don't know, guys. So those things just don't seem. It's just too much. You think they're going to start urging blackface more for these to use it against? Well, they was doing them fake Asian crimes for a minute. They did that. Will they make us the enemy? Right now, the rhetoric is to make South Americans the enemy, Mexicans in South America. That is the rhetoric on the border thing. They won't make you leery and fearful of those people is what kind of, if you look at the agenda, they're saying that we're being, what is the word? We're being invaded. That's what they're calling it, being invaded by South America and Mexico. So moving these people around, it makes you just wonder, or again, those people are going to be classified as European. And so, I don't know. I mean, is this their stand on, because the New York thing, again, is gun control. There's no other way you can look at it. It's gun control. And the week before, Biden talking about, making getting these kits for these 3D printers illegal. because you can 3D print a rifle, but that ain't gonna disappear. But it's easy to get the kits, and as I said, you can rent 3D printers. You ain't even got to buy them. You can rent them and buy the metals. You can get metals. They're metal. They make metal. So, but so we'll possibly. Sly said he first heard his name, he thought of the porn star. Yeah, he thought of the porn star. But when I saw the name, I thought of Frank and Jesse James. That was my because remember, Frank went to prison after the fiasco here in Minnesota, Northfield, which is about 45, 50 minutes. I always said I want to go to Jesse James days because they have a celebration of the shooting. And you know what fucked Jesse James and them up? There was one of the first safes that had the time delay, that the safe could open, could only be open at certain times. That fucked them up. And the other thing was them Henry rifles, them Henry repeaters. They was outgunned. And it was like everybody in town had them Henry repeaters, and put it on Jesse James and the mass. And the younger brothers killed, I think, a couple of younger brothers, or one of the younger brothers. But yeah, they reenact that every year. So they have big, fair like down there. So, but yeah, that's the first thing I thought of. But it's too much. Just like when Sly did the thing on Emmett Till. It's just too much. And when you hear too much, it appeared like it's a script. It's a movie. So, like the Timothy McVeigh, and as I said before, to tie Terry Nichols, whatever his name is, to the Michigan militia was to take down the Michigan militia. That's what it was. And at one time, and I trained with these guys, it was the best militia in the country. It was the best militia in the country. Now, it was mostly European, but I wasn't the other brother. It was a bunch of brothers that we trained. Matter of fact, we got to train where the Custer base. It was some land where the Army trained at times. We trained over there, shoot off rounds and everything. I mean, we ran everything, humped, because it's miles you can do around that place. You see the tanks, but we was training on them same areas. And they used Terry Nichols to bring down that militia because they were scared of them. They were scared of that possibility. It brings me back to the early 2000s when Middle Easterners were the scapegoats for 9/11. Yeah, absolutely. And what's funny about it is in Dearborn, you had Arab people in Dearborn back then because they gave Dearborn, now you're talking about gentrification, they gave Dearborn to the Arab folks. That's why you got an Arab representative out of Michigan, because this is where they put them. Omar is the same way. They gave them a block, which they knew would end up being a voting block. That's why Keith Ellis was there first, our state attorney general, and then that is why Omar is in her position, because Keith gave her that position. And now she's been there longer than Keith was there. I think Keith only did 1 or 2 terms. She's going on her 3rd term in November. She's won twice. And I mean, you see, she benefited. She threw her future husband. She threw him about $1 million in his business. So you see how they do it. She learned the game quickly. And if you don't think she didn't start corrupt, I mean, look at the interviews of that Cortez chick. And again, we should hate the name Cortez. Cortez means mass murderer. Even though the story ain't believable. Rather Arabs. Yeah, rather Arab people. Yeah, rather Arab people. Yeah. I mean, there was the ones, and as we saw, them give them Dearborn, same thing. They gave them all the stores. It went from seeing a lot of Asian people owning the stores. Next thing you know, where did these Arab people come from? It was literally like overnight. One day, the places that used to be 7-Elevens, 7-Eleven went out of business a lot of places. One day you go in there, there's Asian people. And then the very next day, you see Arab people. And not just in one, almost all of them. Like Battle Creek is a fairly small town, only 50-some thousand people. And how one day you go and almost all the gas station or the little convenience stores is owned by them. How is that? Giorgio Cortez. I'm going to talk for a minute with this mint in my mouth. medication I take makes my mouth dry. And I keep drinking all this water, I'm gonna have to pee. So I'm trying not to pee, trying to do this before I pee. But I'll say I feel really energetic for being my first night back. I know some nights I come on my first night and I'd be like low energy. And I'm sorry, I'm like that. Do you think them peoples gave us the internet? They knew we would research more and find out about what they do, but won't lose their power? Well, as I said, and if you study, the internet was, well, you can look at two theories, and I guess I haven't said this. The internet wasn't made for us. The internet was first made for the army. I want to say Savan Bomber was the first one to say that if there is the me or the my, okay, that's even without using Bomber, I'll say the me or the my. The me or the my, as I talked about the Eternals, when he wanted to give them an engine to make them work easy, and he's like, they ain't ready for this. So the me or the my has been holding a lot of this technology that had been used in the past, some of these things. And so it used it first. It created it for it to communicate with whatever the me has to communicate with. Whatever it has to communicate with, it did that. But for some reason, it needed the spectrum that eventually everybody's got to use. And of course, the first people to use it was the military. And that's why I don't understand when people, you really think they didn't know the dark web? You really think they couldn't have shut that down anytime they wanted to? And the dark web is full of arms dealers and all this dope. They had a hand in it. That's why you can't believe they said that the dude who invented the dark web, that he got busted going to, I'm sorry if you're hearing it, this mint against my teeth, but that the dark web, the designer got busted because he kept going to the same coffee shop to get free internet. So if you're really being clandestine, you're not going to the same place every day. If you would bounce around, or you would have your computer, you using servers all around the world. You know, they show movies and they try to track somebody's computer and they're like, wait a minute, it went to here, it went to there, it went to there. So that story where he's just so lazy and they catch him in a Starbucks is not believable. So, well, and the other part is the information age. Remember, that's what they call this, the information age. And again, the information age, as we was saying before, Trump said it, was like, this is fake news. They're giving us fake information. So they had to weaken what that was by having a government figure say that. Well, we were saying all of that shit is fake news or false flags. And the government used it. And so people don't even trust it. So yeah, it's ironic. It's ironic. See, the blue might be, it is ironic. You mentioned that on the south side of my town, the main street on the side that has two gas stations, they were owned by Asians first. Now they're owned by Arabs. Yeah. I mean, I saw the same thing. I absolutely saw the same thing. It was almost like overnight. Like, where these dudes come from? Where they live? Never saw them where they lived. You think Biden going to be one term? Yeah. He going to be a Jimmy Carter. He going to be a Bush 1, H. Bush. He going to be a H. Bush. Not only that, they're going to, but see, it's the same thing as Obama. Obama had the same power going in. He had both the House and the Senate. And Obama, remember they called him teabaggers or Tea Party. I call them teabaggers. Tea Party, remember that? The Tea Party candidates took over the midterms for Obama. Almost same scenario. So of course, the script is going to get flipped, and they're going to say, well, for the next 2 years, he can't do nothing. But inflation, and I heard them, talking shit about all the trucks being stopped and doing inspection, all the trucks, all the tractor trailers being stopped and inspected because people still trying to smuggle people. It's still that. And you got the NAFTA, a lot of the NAFTA agreements still there. So, you already know that trucks, you know, aren't smuggling, but some of these other trucks, they got to check them. They're talking about, well, that's slowing everybody down. Well, I mean, it's bad enough that my people got pushed off the land in Boston. And I know I say the Obuiji name, but they got pushed off the land from New York. Now they're in upper Minnesota. My family's never got any of our property back. So I'm not against these people, but the problem is United States. I got to write this down, but I'm in one of the archive channels I follow, and they're showing all this dirty tricks that the U.S. did to these countries to destabilize them. Do you know how easy it is and all the resources in South America, Mexico and South America? They purposely destabilize these places so they forced to come here. And you can't say that a lot of times they use slave labor. They wanted to tell you during the pandemic that people in America was too lazy, that they couldn't find enough people to pick fruit because Trump was stopping them all from coming. And they want to tell you melanated people wouldn't work out there and Europeans wouldn't work out there to pick the fruit. But I know a couple of people out there that I know that's not true. There's people out there willing to work. It's people willing to work. This is almost in every city. It's places that you drive up and they'll come pick you up to go work. That's in almost every city. That's here in the summertime, in some places in the wintertime. So they took off YouTube. Guess he talked too much about. Again, I ain't never listened to him. I couldn't tell you. I thought that T.K. Kirkland and Tommy Sotomayor was the same person. I didn't realize they was different. I thought that was the same dude. I thought Sotomayor was that comedian, but I guess it's two different dudes. I thought it was the same dude. I was like, this ain't him? I guess not. So I don't know. I don't know anything about him. Yeah, I've listened to about maybe 2 minutes, and that was with the Kwame Brown shit. So ain't nothing. It's funny. I was watching Snowfall tonight, and it was funny. In Snowfall, the dude did a Marlon Brando kind of deal. I don't know if y'all Godfather fans, but when the Godfather, like, he was like, motherfucker would ask him something, he would kind of give up like that. And I noticed that the actor did the Godfather move. But like the Godfather would be asking something he didn't really agree with. He would kind of do that kind of thing that Marlon Brando. I kind of laughed. The dark web might have been the first form of internet. Imagine what was going on before the public started using it. Exactly. I mean, as I was saying with South Americans, you know, Reagan was allowed to send them arms. The whole thing of mass incarceration on a product that they brought to America. Now, you don't think people should get reparations for that? A nonviolent crime. Now, I'm not saying that it's not violence. Again, a lot of the violence was government-induced violence. But, dude, like I said, my friend, all he did is sold 4 keys. Did he deserve 16 years? This is a nonviolent crime. Nonviolent crime. And Michigan had for a nonviolent crime, you could get life. Somebody could abuse 20 children and wouldn't have got life. And that's why it was cruel and unusual. And it they had to kick everybody out. And the answer is to make the shit legal. That's the answer. Make the shit legal. Tax it. Amsterdam don't seem to have them problems. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this in there. My opinion, The Godfather has to be the most overrated movie series ever. Movie made me fall asleep. That motherfuckers is long. Godfather 1 is 3 hours long. Very long. I read the book, though. Mario Puzo's book. Godfather 2 was the best of them. I'll tell you what, though. rewatching Godfather 3 and they talk about the Pope's banker, I missed that in the beginning. I didn't know. I heard it and watched it, but I missed that. I thought to show that how, because again, what the Pope and them did is they laundered money for the Nazis too, but showing how they was laundering money for the Costa Nostra, you know. So when Al Pacino is holding a cigarette and he slaps his wife while he's holding the cigarette, like he got the cigarette in one hand and he slaps his wife with the other, and even after he slaps her, he still got the cigarette in his hand. That shit is comical as hell. That's in 2. I'll say this, and this is what I liked about it and how it used to be. It showed loyalty, undying loyalty. But it shows backstabbing, because the son that was special needs was easy to manipulate, and the rival manipulated a special needs son who thought he should have been the boss because he was older. I thought that part was interesting. The structure of the mafia family, I find interesting. The structure of it. Now, it's long, very long. It shows the violence. It shows the Jewish faith gangsters, which gets a pass. The other one, Gangsters, I think was the movie, where they had all the young cats playing all them. But it showed Bugsy Siegel and it showed Meyer Lansky. What was that one called? Wasn't that just called Gangsters? The one that showed them young? But it exposes the Jewish faith gangsters. So, yeah, I can see the point where if you didn't read the book and you really wasn't into that type of history, yeah, I can see where it's not interesting. Is it overrated? I guess I'll look at it like this. It's well shot. The screenplay is outstanding. Great screenplays. I say of the 3, the third one gave deeper information, but it wasn't written very well. Then he put his daughter in there. That part wasn't written very well. The story was good, but I thought the first 2, the screenplays were outstanding screenplays. So, but you know, what did he say? Yeah, I fell asleep to The Godfather 2. Shit, never knew a movie could be that long. Oh yeah, there was. Oh my goodness, no. Let me tell you, the longest movie that I went to. OJ was in it. It was the movie about the 130 story building on fire. Flaming. What is it called? I just had it. But that movie was 4 hours long. I took a girl there. We kissed for 4 hours. I was like in 8th grade. We went in there and we damn near lived in that place. The movie was so long, we started getting mail in that motherfucker. You know, I'm sitting there, they bringing me mail and shit. Towering Inferno. Thank you, Motivite. Towering Inferno, I want to say, was damn near 4 hours long. It was longer than The Godfather. But again, I took Amy Prane and we kissed for like the whole time. So I know people was like, like, take her on the floor. Take her between the seats. But, you know, I was in 8th grade and we kissed the whole 4 hours, however long it was. Nah, I'm saying, you know, if that's your opinion, ain't nothing wrong with that. I see things I like, and I see that it's, you know, you're not really into history like that, yeah, it would be boring. If you're not really into history like that, it would be boring. I understand that. You know, I see both sides. But I like that movie better than Scarface because them dudes wasn't working for the government. Scarface was. So yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. You do a list of movies one time. I would do it. I have you on, and we'll go over and I'll show you movies like I'll tell you. One of my favorite movies is Same Time Next Year. And I've talked about this before, and it's with Alan Alda. I can't think of the woman, but it's the same time or same place next year. And this couple has an affair. They have an affair where they meet once a year or once a weekend for like 20 years. And it just shows all the 20 years. And I said before, one year she comes and looks forward to seeing him, but she's pregnant. And he's like looking at her like, I don't know if I can hit it while you're pregnant. And she's like, oh, come here. You can still hit it while you're pregnant. I mean, scandalous. But I loved the story. I thought it was a great screenplay. The other movie was the dude who was in love with the doll. Y'all seen that movie where he's in love with the doll? I can't think of the name of it. He's in love with the doll. And it was a very well screenplay where he was the dude. I want to change. I change up there. If I can remember, I'll go come back. How many of y'all saw the movie? And I talked about this before, where the girl, they don't show it, but the girl blows the dog. Like the beginning of the movie, the girl is looking at her dog, and I mean, really, like she's got a pen in her hand. She's got a pen in her hand, and she's doing like this, and they show her, then they show the dog, they show her, they show the dog, and you don't really know why they do that. And later, as I said, her and the boyfriend's like, tell a secret I've never, you would never tell anybody else. And the boyfriend admits that he participated and lost a cookie party. And I first heard about a cookie party from one of my teachers. I've told this before, so if you've heard it, you're going to hear it again. And a cookie party apparently is where everybody beats off into the cookie, and the last one who beats off, and this is what a teacher told me. He said that whoever is last gets to eat it, has to eat the cookie. So this is what the dude told her. And then she tells the dude, well, I was in college and I was horny one night and I blew my dog. And her brother was like, had an upstairs loft and heard it. And she was like the perfect person. They was always putting the brother down for smoking weed and shit and everything. And he goes and tells the parents. It starts raining. They all run outside and the parents are going crazy. The mother slips and falls and she dies. But that movie was a trip. So I think Goodfellas was a good movie. Yeah. Getting that shit for 4 hours. My brother. Did I miss anybody else? Scarface over Godfather. Yeah, I said it and I stand on it. No. You see an agent. You see an agent. Godfather and them, they wasn't never agents. You see an agent in Scarface. I thought Goodfellas. I like Goodfellas, but it showed them telling on each other. I remember middle school kissing so damn long, my jaw locked up. I started screaming for my mama. Jaw locked up. I never heard of that. Okay. I wonder if, damn, that'd be a bitch if, a chick was giving you some head and her jaw locked up on your shit and be like, and it locked down. Ooh, you'd be like, damn. You'd be smacking her in the face. Get off that butt. Oh, that would be funny. Longest I ever saw was the Titanic. Besides the cheesy ass music, it was a cool movie to me. Tell nobody. I don't know. It's just a very morbid movie. Like, did we really need to see the way all these people died and suffered, and the mistakes that was made that could have saved people? And of course, it killed all them dudes who would have voted against the feds taking over. Yeah. So there's got to be some realistic parts to that. You ever seen The Firm with Tom Cruise? Older movie, was definitely recommended. Yeah, The Firm was good. Yeah, The Firm's good. I couldn't close my mouth. Damn. Yeah, you probably had to just get it unhinged. Woo. Man, just think if it locked with your mouth closed on somebody. Oh, shit. Get off me. I've seen dudes have broken jaws where they got hit under their helmet. Like, and then had to get their shit all, like Ali, when he had to get his shit all wired inside. I've seen dudes playing football get their jaws broke. The worst football injury was I saw a dude get his foot turned completely around. I've told that story another time. But I saw a dude had a broken neck too. They had to put the helicopter up. Like we had to stop the game, and they brought a helicopter, and dude broke his neck during the game. And the helicopter landed on the field. They put him on the stretcher and flew him to the hospital. I don't know what happened to him, but that was probably, I guess that was the worst. But Space Ghost, when he broke his ankle, and he didn't flinch hardly. He didn't really flinch. And I mean, his foot was facing backwards. I mean, it broke completely. I mean, his foot was completely broke backwards. That was a hell of a sight not to see. Researchers that John Grisham, I literally read every one of his books. Good stuff. Yeah. My mother read all this stuff too. Yeah, John. Yeah, his book is good. His books are good. I don't like reading nonfiction. Very little nonfiction that I read. I like reading about real events. Like I just, it breaks my heart. I had to read through Tecumseh. And what's interesting is, him and Tecumseh and his brother were both spiritually gifted. His brother especially. And the night before Tecumseh gets killed, he's sitting there with his friends and family. They're about to fight the Americans during the War of 1812 with the backing of the British. And that night, he just like they were around eating, and he drops his plate and he falls down. Or no, they said he bent over and he's like, "Oh shit, I just been shot." Where he had saw a vision of his getting killed the next day. Now, at times, this happened in Vietnam, but you can draw that to you too. You hear the stories. World War II too. Well, give this letter. Take the death letter, where dudes just knew they was gonna die. Well, you draw that to you too. But that was interesting that happened to him. Very spiritual people. Sad story. It's just, and the same thing of divide and conquer. Here's Tecumseh and his brother saying, if we do not get together and fight these people, we're going to be pushed out of all our country. Pontiac tried to do it 30 years previous. And the same thing. This tribe won't join this tribe. These two tribes are going to work for them. The same divide and conquer. We had not enough people saying, yeah, you're right. We got to squash our differences and we got to all fight them. And if this is the stand, every Indian from everywhere. That's kind of like Custer's last stand was. Supposedly it was an army of 10,000 people. That army of 10,000 people would have gave America hell if they would have went to fight in St. Louis. They could have held the West. But the petty bickering afterwards, I'm the one that won. No, it was because of me. It was because of me. And this big army broke apart. Instead of staying together and saying, hey, this is it. We don't keep fighting them. They're going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming. And so you see the divide and conquer that they used against. Well, looks like I'm going to have to cut the show early. Oh, that's right. I'm not on the internet. That's right. I'm just using the phone power. That's right. Because the flickers and shit. And I'm sorry that when my son does his games, and sometimes they be attacking the thing too and make it flicker. But it killed. I've been going almost 2 hours. So what can I say? Using more power because I'm not on the internet. But let me give the divination because tomorrow is the one day. I am going to start a new series of the divination. So I'm going to start doing the divination shorts. So just let everybody know. But again, it's Emix or Dragon. I gotta find out what the shadow is too. Something. Emish, root, waters, quality, source of life, divine nutrients and support, primordial mother, undivided primordial waters, trust and nourishment, receptivity and self-love. Spiral vortex of the primordial waters, or dragon, is the symbol. The number 1 is 1 of unity. The color is burgundy. So if you want a little juice tomorrow, wear burgundy. Herb is the needle. Flowers are burgundy carnations, deep red rose. Flower essence is scarlet pumpernickel. Scent is cedar or sage. A good time to use sage would be tomorrow. Stones are garnet. Garnet. Oh yeah, this shit chops through. Oh my goodness, this gets evil, wicked. This gets that wicked up off you. It's the earth element, and you want to push, you manifesting, the energy's coming from the east. Shadow wisdom, issues of deep, primordial trust and survival, lack of self-love, feeling unsupported by divine nutrient or unworthy to receive, betrayal or abandonment. And we all are worthy to receive spiritual guidance. Surrender, and the shadow transformation is in surrender and trust in larger pattern to provide what you need. I'll say it again. Surrender and trust in the larger pattern to provide what you need. Be open to receive. Communicate your feelings, desires, and your dreams. Harmonic wisdom is the frequency. Mudra. Okay, so the mudra would be like this at your stomach, like this at your stomach, while saying, I trust unconditionally the source of divine nutrients And you can meditate and say, primordial cauldron of mystery, spiraling vertex, quicken me, stir in me, primal trust in your love. So I'm gonna do little shorts and kind of just go over that again. I'll probably have to do a little longer, but I'm gonna do little short videos to do the daily. So I'll do it sometime tomorrow too. I think that's all I had. The stories I had, and the phone is gonna crap out, and I didn't bring the cord. So, so I'm gonna test to see how this sound. None of you guys said, "Hey, Black Trunks." I'm sorry. Sorry, I just say what's happening. Thank you. I hope the sound better. I went back to the Yeti. So as I said in my video earlier, and probably depends on the weather. The weather, I don't know. Depends on the weather. Tomorrow, if I'm gonna do Responsible Daddy Hour. There you go. And so I'll leave everybody as I do always do with Mora. More, it all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland. They knew that they had exact numbers of years and days before they would disappear off the earth as a culture and a lifestyle. But the civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the great serpent, which is the Milky Way, baby. So it's a way to you can move through it. Everybody can be time walkers. Everybody can be time walkers. And all you out there, I all look at everybody as relations because we are all the human relations. Well, most of us are. But remember, as you're dealing with people, I'm another yourself. And I forgot that this afternoon when I got upset with my daughters, the people picking people up, the teachers working. I got a little upset. And again, I didn't treat her like I would treat myself. I forgot that. And so I even have to work on that. But remember, I am another yourself. And as you rest into your sacred ball field that is called a bed, you can break it. May you have joy. May you have bliss in your slumber as you go into your dream screen. May you be unbothered. And whatever protects you in your home, may that protection even be amplified. And in closing, remember, love just is. So I'll be on this time tomorrow. Well, I'll be on at midnight Central. Sorry, got people on the East. I know that's a little tough for you. But remember, love just is. Love just is. And so, as I always say, till we meet again. And as Mr. Lamborghini Leglock said, say less.